Welcome to the deep dive. So, we often look at these super successful people, and they always seem to have these quirks, right?
Mhm.
Like Warren Buffett and his 5 Cokes a day, or Richard Branson eating, what, 20 cups of tea?
Yeah, or Bezos building that crazy 10,000-year clock.
Exactly, that $40 million clock. Well, today, we're diving deep into someone who absolutely fits that mold, maybe even breaks it. Elon Musk, multi-billionaire, engineer, entrepreneur. His journey's been, let's just say, dramatic.
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for this deep dive, we've dug through, well, a whole stack of sources, articles, accounts, you name it, to really unpack his story.
Okay.
And what we're really looking at is how someone could go from, frankly, a really rough, abusive childhood in South Africa to being the guy so many people are looking to for, like, the future of humanity.
It's quite the leap.
It is. So our mission here is to pull out the key insights, focusing on his resilience, that famous never give up thing he has, and maybe shine a light on the struggles behind the huge successes, the stuff you don't always see.
Okay, sounds good. So let's start right at the beginning. Pretoria, South Africa. He was born June 28th, 1971. His parents were Errol Musk, an engineer, and May Haldeman, a model and dietitian, married impulsively in '70. But that home life, it wasn't good, was it?
No, not at all. It sounds, well, pretty horrific, actually.
Yeah.
Our sources paint a really stark picture. May described Errol as incredibly abusive, said he told her constantly, like 3 times a day, that she was boring and stupid and ugly.
Wow.
And Elon himself, he didn't mince words. He said, I was beaten up, called his father a terrible human being who carefully thought our plans of evil. He described it as a very violent, unhappy childhood.
Jeez. And there was even something about his dad not wanting him to have a computer.
Yeah, apparently Errol thought computers would never amount to anything. Kind of ironic now, isn't it?
Understatement of the century. And the difficulties weren't just at home either. School was brutal for him, too.
Yeah, severe bullying. There's this awful story from 8th or ninth grade. He was kicked in the head, shoved downstairs, beaten till he blacked out.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It actually messed up his nose so badly, he needed surgery later just to breathe properly.
It's hard to fathom. How do you even come back from that kind of trauma, let alone channel it into something productive?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's something the sources touch on. There's this perspective, kind of counterintuitive, that maybe that incredibly tough upbringing became, in a weird way, an asset.
Also,
Well, the idea is it forged this, like, intense ability to adapt, to just endure insane levels of difficulty. It basically hardened him for the crazy challenges he took on later.
like building resilience through sheer necessity.
Exactly. But even amidst all that darkness, his mom, May, saw something special really early on. Said at age 3 he could, like, reason with her, do complex things.
Like 3?
Yeah, and by 5 or 6, his mind was just going. He called it a never-ending explosion that can't be turned off. Said he thought he was insane because other kids weren't like that. And he just read constantly, read the entire encyclopedia by age 8 or 9.
That's intense. A mix of trauma and just raw intellect from the start.
Yeah, pretty much. And that intellect quickly turned towards tech. He started programming at 10 just because he liked video games.
Right, I read that.
And then, get this, at 12, he sells his first program, a game called Blastar, sort of like Space Invaders.
No way.
Yeah, sold it to a magazine, PC, and office technology for $500.
$500 for a 12-year-old in the early 80s. That's huge.
Right. It definitely showed where his head was at, even then, tackling tough technical stuff.
Absolutely. You can see the pattern forming already. That drive wasn't just about using tech, but creating it
Yeah.
and making money from it.
Yep. And that set him up for the next big move, leaving South Africa.
So at 17, he heads to North America, goes to Queen's University in Canada first, partly, it seems, to avoid mandatory military service back home.
That was definitely a factor.
And here's a classic Elon story. He apparently chose Queen's over the University of Waterloo, which was famous for engineering.
Right. You'd think that'd be the obvious choice.
Because, and this is a direct quote, there didn't seem to be any girls at Waterloo. I didn't want to spend my undergraduate time with a bunch of dudes.
Haha. You gotta love the honesty, I suppose. It shows his priorities were maybe a bit broader than just pure engineering even then.
A mix of pragmatic and, yeah, let's say social thinking. So after Queen's, he transfers to UPenn.
Right, University of Pennsylvania. He figured an Ivy League degree would be his ticket to landing a good job in the U.S. Ended up getting dual bachelor's degrees, economics and physics. Graduated at 26.
And then Silicon Valley calls, 1995. He saw it as this mythical place, the holy promised land for entrepreneurs.
Which it kind of was, back then especially.
And interestingly, his first goal there was energy storage for electric cars.
Oh.
Way ahead of the curve.
Definitely planting seeds for later.
Yeah.
But getting a job wasn't easy. Tons of competition. He applied to Netscape, the big internet company at the time.
Yeah.
Nothing. No response.
Ouch. So what did he do?
That rejection was actually key. He basically said, okay, if I can't get a job at the only internet company, then I better try starting something.
Just like that.
Pretty much. He sat down and really thought about what technologies would fundamentally change the future. Came up with the internet, sustainable energy, space colonization, making life multiplanetary genetics, and AI.
That's quite a list.
It is. And at 24, given his coding background from Blaster and stuff, he felt the internet was where he could make his first mark.
Which led to Zip2.
Exactly. 1995, he starts Zip2 with his brother, Kimball. It was software to help newspapers and media companies get their content online.
And this is where the eating glass quote comes in.
Yeah, eating glass and staring into the abyss. He was deep in college debt, like $100,000. Said he had negative money.
Wow.
Couldn't afford an apartment and an office, so he rented the office. It was cheaper, slept on a futon, showered at the YMCA or a local gym.
That's pure startup grind. That's the reality behind the myth sometimes.
Totally. But it worked. Zip2 grew, got big clients like the New York Times, and then, bam, February 1999, just 3.5 years in.
The acquisition.
Compaq buys Zip2 for $305 million. Cash and stock.
$300 million.
Yeah.
So overnight.
Yeah. Elon got $22 million for his 7% stake. Kimball got $15 million. From futon to multimillionaire.
That's insane. And what's the first thing he does with the money? Buys that ridiculous car, right?
Yeah. The $1 million McLaren F1. It was even his first TV appearance, showing off the car.
And didn't he crash it almost immediately?
Pretty rich. A year later. Had Peter Thiel in the passenger seat. Thiel asks, so what can this thing do? Elon says, watch this.
Oh, no.
Yep. Crashed it. Apparently, they just hitchhiked to his next meeting. The car got fixed, sold for a profit later, worth maybe $20 million now.
Only Elon.
Yeah.
But even with that splashy purchase, his head wasn't really on islands and supercars, was it?
No, not fundamentally. He said himself he wasn't interested in buying islands in the Bahamas. He was much more interested in trying to build and create a new company. That McLaren was like a brief detour. The real drive was already kicking back in.
And kick back in, it did. Fast. How long after the Zip2 sale did he start the next thing?
1 month.
A month.
Yep. March 1999 pours $10 million of his Zip2 money into founding X.com.
X.com. The precursor to PayPal.
Exactly. The goal was huge. Transform the traditional banking industry. Let people email money to each other. Revolutionary at the time.
And this time, financially, things were a bit easier, I assume. No futons involved.
No futons this time. He had capital plus the experience from Zip2. It was smoother sailing, financially speaking.
And the growth was explosive, right?
Totally. X.com merged with a competitor, Confinity, and became PayPal. They had this brilliant strategy. Send money to a friend. That friend gets recruited when they sign up to get the cash. It just went viral.
Exponential growth.
Absolutely exploded. They had 1 million customers in just 2 years.
Incredible. But then came another twist. He got fired from his own company.
Yeah. October 2000. Ousted as CEO.
What happened?
While the timing was terrible, PayPal was having multiple major problems, lots of internal fires to put out, and Elon decided to take a 2-week trip. It was partly fundraising, partly a long overdue honeymoon. He'd married Justine Wilson earlier that year.
Okay.
While he was gone, the board and management team basically decided he wasn't the right guy to lead through that crisis. They voted him out.
Wow, that must have stung badly. Founding it, the explosive growth, then getting kicked out.
Oh, undoubtedly. Sources suggest it was a huge blow, but maybe also a necessary lesson about leadership, delegation, maybe picking your battles, or at least your timing for vacations.
Perhaps. And it didn't cripple him financially in the long run.
Not at all.
Mhm.
Because in 2002, eBay swooped in and bought PayPal for $1.5 billion in stock.
Billion with a B.
Yep. Elon's share this time, $165 million.
Okay, that probably softened the blow of getting fired.
You'd think so. And crucially, he managed to smooth things over with the team that fired him, kept those relationships intact, which was smart because he needed that network for what came next.
Which was, well, even crazier, SpaceX and Tesla.
Exactly. After the PayPal windfall, he basically went all in. Poured almost everything into these incredibly risky, some said impossible, ventures. $100 million into SpaceX, $70 million into Tesla, and another $10 million into Solar City.
Just staggering amounts of personal capital on the line.
Yeah.
Let's take SpaceX first. Founded 2002. What was the driving idea? Why rockets?
He looked at the cost of space travel and saw it was just astronomical, literally, and costs had gone up over decades, not down. He thought that was fundamentally wrong.
So his goal was cheaper rockets.
Drastically cheaper, like
Yeah.
making them for 3% of the going rate. But the why behind that was even bigger. Mars.
Right, making humans multiplanetary.
Yeah. He wanted to make colonizing Mars seem possible within our lifetimes. He even set goals, like landing people there by 2024. Okay, missed that one. But also cutting the trip cost down to maybe $200,000. Like buying a house, you can sense Mars is his, like, #1 thing.
But he wasn't a rocket engineer. How did he even start?
He read a lot.
Yeah.
Just like when he was a kid with the encyclopedia, he devoured aerospace engineering textbooks.
Seriously, he just taught himself.
Pretty much. And then he started cold calling people. Found aerospace consultant Jim Cantrell, hired Tom Mueller, this brilliant engine designer who developed the Merlin engine, the reusable one.
Still, it couldn't have been easy. Learning is one thing, building and launching rockets is another.
Oh, it was brutal. The first rocket, Falcon 1, failed 3 times in a row.
3 times.
Yep. March 2006, crashed 41 seconds after launch, fuel leak. 2007, failed to reach orbit, stage separation problem. Third time, another failure, timing error made the stages collide.
Man. And by that point...
He was out of money. All the cash he'd put into SpaceX was gone. Done.
So what happens? This is make or break.
This is where the legend really forms. He gathers the team after the third failure, looks them in the eye and says, "I will never give up." And I mean never.
Wow.
Apparently, it rallied everyone. One employee said they'd follow him into the gates of hell carrying suntan oil, which, I mean, you need that kind of belief then.
But that kind of refusal to quit,
Yeah.
does it ever backfire? Does that relentless push maybe ignore warning signs sometimes or just burn people out before the breakthrough comes?
That's a really fair point. And yeah, that extreme resolve definitely has downsides. It put immense strain on everyone, pushed finances to the absolute edge, maybe prolonged some agony. But
Yeah.
in this case, it paid off.
The fourth launch.
September 28, 2008. Falcon 1 makes it to orbit. Success.
Huge.
Massive. Because that success unlocked a $1.6 billion NASA contract, resupply missions to the ISS. That saved SpaceX, pulled it out of death's reach, as one source put it.
Incredible turnaround. Okay, so while all that drama is happening with SpaceX, there's Tesla.
Right. An important point here. Elon didn't found Tesla.
That's a common mistake people make.
Yeah. Tesla Motors was started by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning in 2003. Elon came in later. Remember his early interest in battery tech?
Back in his Silicon Valley arrival days.
Exactly. So he invested $6.5 million in February 2004, became the chairman. He didn't actually become CEO until late 2008.
And their first car was the Roadster.
Launched 2008, right?
Unveiled 2006, first deliveries 2008. And 2008, oh boy, that year was just catastrophic for Elon.
Why? What else was going on?
Everything. It was his self-described worst year. First, the global financial crisis hits. Car companies get hammered, especially the startups selling $100,000 electric sports cars. Tesla was literally days from bankruptcy right before Christmas.
Just like SpaceX was on the ropes.
Exactly. Both companies given less than a 10% chance of survival. Then on top of that, his personal life implodes. His marriage to Justine ends very publicly, very acrimoniously. She felt like a trophy wife, said he put her down. And then, like 10 days after meeting British actor Tallulah O'Reilly, he proposes to her. Just utter chaos, personally and professionally. So he's got 2 companies about to die. His marriage is over.
Yeah.
How did he handle the company finances? Did he have to choose?
He called it a Sophie's choice. Had just enough personal money left for maybe one company to survive, but not both if he split it. Splitting it might kill both. Pouring it all into one would definitely kill the other.
What a nightmare decision.
He chose to split it. Scraped together $20 million somehow, even got money from his cousin's data center startup, put it into Tesla, and miraculously, investors matched it. They closed the funding round on Christmas Eve, the absolute last hour of the last day possible, he said. Tesla survived.
Unbelievable. Just sheer willpower and, I guess, some luck on the timing.
You need both, right? And Tesla did eventually take off. Stock went nuts between 2013 and 2018, up 450%. Posted its first profit in 2013, but then...
Or hell.
Production hell, as he called it, 2018 again. This time ramping up the Model 3, the more affordable car. They were aiming for 5,000 cars a week, but we're only hitting like 800.
Another near-death experience.
Yep. About a month from bankruptcy, again. This is when he started sleeping in the factory. Said he wanted his pain to be worse than his employees. Just lived there.
That's a dedication or obsession or both.
Whatever it was. They eventually figured it out, ramped up production, built factories all over the world, delivered 1.3 million cars in 2022.
And now you see Teslas everywhere. Countries are mandating electric vehicles by 2035. Tesla's opening up its charging network. But Elon's focus seems to be shifting again towards the software.
Yeah, full self-driving, FSD, he's been very clear. He believes FSD is the key to Tesla's long-term value. He's even said without it, the company is worth basically zero.
Zero. That's extreme.
It shows where his head's at. It's not just about cars, it's about transforming transportation, maybe even the nature of driving itself. It's that long-term disruptive vision again.
Which seems to connect all his ventures, doesn't it? We
Yeah.
mentioned Solar City briefly.
Right. The solar panel company started in 2006, initially for his cousins, then merged with Tesla. Fits the sustainable energy piece.
The Neuralink. Brain implants.
Yeah, 2016. Neurotechnology. Short-term goal, help people with paralysis-controlled devices with their thoughts. Long-term goal, merge humans with AI. Wild stuff. They got approval for human trials in 2023.
Wild is right. And the Boring Company. Digging tunnels for traffic.
And that one's still DBD, let's say. Met with a bit more skepticism so far.
And then, of course, the whole Twitter saga. Buying it in 2022, renaming it X.
Right. He framed that as a fight for freedom of speech, wants to turn it into X, the everything app, payments, video, messaging. We'll see how that plays out.
So when you list them all out, SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City, Neuralink, Boring Company, X, there's a theme emerging, isn't there? This idea of freedom.
It really seems like it. Freedom from Earth's limits Mars, freedom from fossil fuels, freedom from traffic jams, freedom from, I guess, biological limitations with Neuralink, freedom of speech with X. It's a fascinating lens to view it through.
That's a great insight. Do the sources suggest he always thought in those terms? Like, did he articulate this freedom concept early on, or is it more of a framework we can see now looking back? Did it evolve from, say, wanting financial freedom to wanting freedom for humanity?
That's a really sharp question. I don't think the sources show him explicitly laying out a freedom manifesto from day one. It seems more like an intrinsic drive that just kept seeking bigger and bigger outlets as his resources and capabilities grew.
So less a step-by-step plan, more a core motivation.
Exactly. The initial desire for financial independence was probably quite practical, escaping constraint, enabling action. But the actions he chose almost immediately were geared towards these huge humanity-level problems, these perceived limitations. So whether it was the internet, then energy, then space, it feels like a consistent underlying push against boundaries. Removing constraints seems to be the common thread.
It really ties it all together. It brings us back to this image of the eccentric, multi-billionaire engineering businessman. Started in such difficult circumstances, now arguably the single person most people associate with, well, shaping humanity's future. Which raises that question again, is the weirdness, the eccentricity, just a side effect of the success? Or is it somehow required the price of admission to play at that level?
It's so hard to untangle, isn't it? Look, lots of hyper-successful people are different. They operate outside the norms. With Musk, those eccentricities, the intense focus, ignoring conventional wisdom, that almost obsessive drive, seem inseparable from the breakthroughs.
So not just a side effect, but part of the engine?
Maybe. It feels less like a consequence and more like a core part of his operating system, amplified, for sure, by the insane journey he's been on, but maybe fundamentally him, for better or worse.
Yeah, it does seem like anyone who really pushes the envelope in any field often has a touch of being a little bit out of the ordinary. You almost have to, maybe.
Possibly. But stripping away the noise, the controversy, the tweets, the core drive seems remarkably consistent. Born to pursue difficult technical endeavors with the overall goal of advancing humanity.
That really comes through. He seems to genuinely believe he's putting humanity's future first, even above his own comfort or arguably sanity sometimes. From nobody to programmer to engineer to the guy trying to ensure human existence continues. It all circles back to that never give up mantra.
Absolutely. His whole story is just relentless pursuit against odds that would make almost anyone else quit multiple times over, childhood adversity, near bankruptcy again and again. But he just keeps pushing, often at huge personal cost.
So as you think about this deep dive, this incredible journey, it makes you reflect, doesn't it? That sheer refusal to accept limitations, that willingness to attack problems everyone else calls impossible.
It leaves you wondering what impossible problem, maybe in your own life or just something you see in the world, could you tackle with even a tiny fraction of that persistence? What does his story tell us, really, about the power we have to not just cope with reality, but to actually try and restructure the reality that you're living?